Hello, everyone. I'm Crystal Cruz. Tonight on News West 9 at 6, we begin with Odessa's water woes. Today, the boil water notice has been lifted for the entire city. It was put in place after a 12-inch water line break on East 46th Street this past Saturday. It created a big sinkhole, as you can see in that video. It actually turned out to be a manhole that caved in. We're told the break took several hours to get isolated and fixed. After crews finished repairs on the roughly 70-year-old cast iron line Saturday night, water was restored Sunday, but the state required the city to issue the boil water notice until the water could be tested for safety. Those tests showed it was safe to drink today. You no longer have to boil your water. Well, this is the 5th time this year the city has had a major water line break. As you can imagine, it's frustrating for Odessans and for city workers. Sydney Jolivet went to take a look at the problem. She sat down with the city manager of Odessa to find out where the city plans to go from here.
The water issue in Odessa can only be described one way.
That's completely unacceptable.
For the 5th time in 2024, the city has experienced a major line break. There is a common factor between them all: aging infrastructure.
I talked to a resident that has been there since that neighborhood was built. They were put in the mid-50s, so we're talking about 70-year-old pipes.
Along with age, the time of year, and change in temperature can cause friction with pipes and valves, causing them to burst. But that's not the only hole city management is trying to plug.
Whenever these lines break, we can't isolate the break. If we could isolate the break, there would be no effect to anyone except the people just right there on that street. But because we can't isolate these larger breaks like this, it ends up in a situation like it was this weekend where we had to shut the water plant down.
Now, looking towards solutions, the city has put out a request for proposal with contractors. This will tell us which valves are broken and need replacing and which ones are in good condition.
The RFP is open right now. It takes a couple months to get that in, but it's going to be an ongoing process. I mean, it's truly going to be an ongoing process.
Once that phase is done, a city team will be put into place to monitor the integrity of the water system.
Basically 2 to 3 people, that's what their job is to go around to these valves that have been identified and to open and close them periodically so many times a year.
In the past, the city did have a crew like this, but it was removed due to cost-cutting measures. But funds believed to go down the drain is the least of the city manager's concerns.
I would apologize to them, but at the same time, that doesn't really solve their problem. We're working on it, and as far as funding goes, I'm looking into every type of funding, from private funding to the Texas Water Development Board to what we can do in the budget to any kind of financing that I can to start alleviating this problem.
Unfortunately, Beckmeyer does predict more line breaks, but with a new level of proactivity, Odessa plans to stay ahead of the flow.
We now know City of Odessa crews will be working to fix that manhole at the intersection of 42nd and Dixie. What you're seeing on your screen is the traffic control plan. Work is set to begin tonight at 7 o'clock.